Well. What a performance from Joel Embiid. Man, this performance by Joel Embiid, MVP worthy. MVP worthy. There shouldn't be a question that Joel Embiid should not win the MVP award. Joel Embiid is the MVP of the NBA, and there should be no question about it. That performance, my God, it was dominating. Yeah, this game was a little too close from comfort for my liking. That first half was goddamn atrocious. Just with the way no one could hit shots, both teams just back and forth, brick, hitting off the rim, hitting off the backboard, just can't hit any goddamn thing. Felt like the Sixers bench was scoring more than the starters in Joel Embiid. It just kind of felt like that weird thing. But the second half, they turned it up a little bit. Joel Embiid just continued to do his thing, dominating like he does. James Harden also throws in a triple-double there. But I also feel like it was a quiet triple-double because I feel like James Harden still can be better than he's actually playing right now. But still, a triple-double is it's a nice feat to have, I guess. But for James Harden, that's nothing to him. But still, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is the MVP of this league. And nothing should change that mindset. It just shouldn't. So, great win by the Sixers team. They clinch a playoff spot, too. So they're going to make the play. We all knew they were going to make the playoffs, but they officially clinched that playoff spot. At this point, you're just going for the last couple of games of the season just to see where they place in the standings. So it's most likely going to be between the third, fourth, first place, second place spot. It's going to be one of those positions for this team. But still, just a really great performance by Joel Embiid. Fantastic. He was one of the main reasons why they won this game. He was probably the reason why they won this game. Fantastic performance by the MVP, that is Joel Embiid. And before we get into this video, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And before we recap this Sixers win, the most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. And also drop a like on that like button as well. If you're looking for all the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, and events, this is the place to be at, depending on the outcome, great or miserable, depending on the outcome. Also, if you are a current viewer of the channel, I am grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you're looking for tickets, upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of, use the code TTPSPORTS down below for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So if you want to grab some playoff tickets for the Sixers at the Wells Fargo Center, there you go. You got opening day coming up this Friday. Opening day is almost here. Get yourself some Phillies tickets. Flyers if you want to put yourself through that. And also when football season comes back for the Eagles. Can't pass up $20 in your pocket. Use that for parking. Use that for concessions. Can't pass that up. Use the code TTP Sports for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. So the Sixers get a win as they clinch a playoff spot over the Cleveland Cavaliers by a score of 112-108. And Joel Embiid was just flat out dominant. But first half for the Sixers team was just not good. Not good at all. It was a little way too close for my liking. They just struggled to hit their shots. At one point, it felt like the bench was outscoring the Sixers starters for a little bit, and Joel Embiid just looked like he had no help whatsoever. Once again, to what we've been seeing basically this entire season, to where Joel Embiid puts up dominating performances, and he just doesn't get any help. But second half, the Sixers picked it up a little bit. Still, it was very too close for comfort. There were moments where it just didn't feel like they were playing defense. But then when you get into crunch time, you get into those final couple of seconds, you get that inbound pass, you get that big steal by Matisse to get it over to Tobias Harris, who puts it in for the jam, who just, basically puts the game away at that standpoint. So just overall, not the, wasn't the dominating performance from yesterday. And granted, I guess you can, factor in a little bit of fatigue because you played yesterday afternoon. You have the travel as well coming into Cleveland. So you got that little 24-hour aspect. You're probably going to be a little gassed in that standpoint. But still, for Joel Embiid, put up 29 points yesterday afternoon. And in over a 24-hour span, he puts up 44 points against Cleveland. Joel Embiid, man. Joel Embiid, there should be no question. I know I keep saying this, but seriously, there should be no question that this man does not win the MVP award. My goodness. And I know all the stat nerds, all the stat muse people that love to look at the game through analytics, that love to use, the analytics as the answer. That's how they watch the game. That's how they view the players. That's how they view everything. And how, for some reason, Joel Embiid is not the MVP because Jokic has all of the amazing stats in the world. All the analytics favor Jokic. And everything says that Jokic should win the MVP. Hell the fuck no. No. Joel Embiid is the MVP, and there should be no question about that for all the performances and what the hell he had to put up through this season. Seriously. And if you come down to, what the hell is Joel Embiid won? What the hell is Jokic won? Yeah, he won the MVP last year, and it's not knocking Jokic at all. Jokic won MVP last year. He's a fantastic player. MVP goes to Joel Embiid this year. For all the performances that he's put up this season, yeah, Joel Embiid deserves the MVP, without a doubt. And just looking at the stat line throughout the game, 44 points, a plus 16, 17 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 blocks, 12 of 26 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 17 of 20 from the free throw line. Just absolutely a dominating performance out of Joel Embiid. Flat out dominant. Man just does it all. Getting those threes, getting those fadeaway shots, going down to the paint, just dominating down low, getting those slams, and just basically doing everything out there just to find a way to win for this team. That's basically all he wants to do. The man just wants to win, and he'll do anything possible, especially if it has to, put a 40 burger up there. 40 plus points, almost 45. Man did everything out there on the court tonight. MVP for a reason. James Harden gets the triple-double in this game. He finishes with 21 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. He went 4 of 13 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3, and 11 of 12 from the free-throw line. Like, even though he does get the triple-double in this game, I still feel like James Harden can be better. It does feel like there are certain standpoints where he favors the pass a little too much, or he's getting a little too pass happy, because I've seen moments during this game where he had clear cuts to go to the basket and he's running there and then he decides to pass it back to, beyond the arc to the man standing behind the line. So I'm just like, James, you got to be a little aggressive there. You got the open look, drive to the basket. If you get fouled, you get fouled. You're going to go to the line regardless. I feel like James Harden should just be doing a little bit more. I'm not sure if, it's the back-to-back scenario there. I'm not sure if it's, the hamstrings that's still, bothering him a little bit. That's still an issue for why James Harden is playing the way he is. Still struggling shooting, especially only going 4 of 13 from the field, and only 2 of those shots half of those shots were from 3. So, James Harden, I do feel like he still can be better. I'm not going to go goo goo gaga over, the triple double and all that crap, but I still feel like he needs to be better. I feel like James Harden can be better. I'm not sure if the hamstring is bothering him. I know during this last stretch, especially now that you did clinch that playoff spot, I do think Doc Rivers is probably going to be resting a lot of the starters a lot more, especially in the final couple of games, since there's only 4 or 5 left. So there's really not that many games left for this team. So you're definitely going to be seeing a lot of, I would say, rest for guys like James Harden and possibly Joel Embiid. And especially for Joel Embiid, he was questionable for tonight's game regardless. What was it, ankle soreness or something like that? And he comes in and he drops 44 points. Seriously, he's questionable, but ankle soreness, and he puts up this type of performance. Seriously, can't question that whatsoever. Joel Embiid is just flat out amazing. Looking at some of the other starters in this game, Tobias Harris, definitely not the game that he had yesterday. I feel like Tobias Harris was not good at all. Had 11 points. He was the -6 on the court, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He was 4 of 14 from the field. He was 0 of 5 from 3. He was 3 of 5 from the free throw line. And just not a good performance from Tobias. Same thing for Tyrese Maxey. Only put up 11 points. He was a +5 on the court. He got into foul trouble early, especially in that first half. He had 4 fouls total. He had 3 assists. He was 4 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. 1 of 1 from the free throw line. And Maxey, he had a couple of shots, especially in that second half as well. That's where he started to heat it up a little bit. But he really wasn't a factor much in that first half just because he was getting into that foul trouble. And it was just, the first half, it just entirely just wasn't good. It just wasn't good whatsoever. Then the team started to pick up a little bit getting into that second half. Then you get Matisse Thybulle. He had the huge steal late in the game on that inbound pass, but it was 10 seconds left in the game. He finished with 4 points, so not a factor into the offense at all. 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He was 2 of 4 from the field, and he was 0 of 1 from 3. Looking at some of the guys coming off of the bench, Niang had himself a decent game. He was a plus 16 on the court, 6 points, 2 of 4 from 3, which made him 2 of 4 from the field. And he was also 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He also had 5 rebounds and 1 assist as well. You got Danny Green coming off of the bench in 17 minutes, getting 3 points, and that one shot was a 3. Then he also got 5 rebounds and 2 steals as well. DeAndre Jordan in 10 minutes was a minus 12. So DeAndre Jordan once again getting exposed off of the court when Joel Embiid is not out there. And then when you get that factor when the bench rotation comes out there and you don't have you guys like Joel Embiid, you don't have guys like James Harden on the court, yeah, the team's going to get exposed a little bit. And there were some aspects like that during this game and over the past couple of stretches of weeks. And then you also got Shake Milton in his 15 minutes of play, gets 4 minutes. He was a +2 on the court. He was 1 of 1 from the field, with that one shot being a 3. And he was also 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And he also put in 1 rebound as well. And looking at some of the team stats, the Sixers shot 41% from the field, and they shot 35% from 3, and they were 83% from the free throw line. Looking at some of the Cleveland stats, you got Garland, he put up 23 points. LeVert put up 18 points. You get Stevens off of the bench putting up 18 points as well. So you also got Markkanen, who was clutch from 3 for Cleveland tonight in 39 minutes. He put up 16 points. He had 4 of his 7 attempts from 3. So it was a back and forth affair. It was definitely a little too close for comfort for my liking. Definitely for my liking. But I guess you can also, I'm not going to, insanely harp on them just because one, you got the back-to-back. At the end of the day, I know what this team is. We all know what this team is. So basically, you're in this back stretch of the season. You're in basically this garbage time. You got your win. You got, your playoff clinch. So basically now it's for seeding, and you're in the garbage time parts of the season to where you're playing like 4 or 5 games. You're probably going to be resting a couple of starters, so they're fully healed up. They're fully rested come playoff time. And that's basically all it's going to be at this standpoint. So looking at the standings right now, just to see after this win by the Sixers. So right now they clinched that playoff spot. They are in 4th place at 48-30. They're 2 games behind the Miami Heat, who are still in 1st place. The Sixers are also tied with the Milwaukee Bucks, who have the same exact record as them. Both teams are 2 games behind the Miami Heat. They're also both a half game behind the Boston Celtics, who sit in 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. They're at 49-30. So there's probably going to be some flip-flop going towards the end of the season in these final couple of games just to see where these teams place at. There could be so many interchangeable things. Maybe the Heat can lose a couple of games. You see Boston in 1st place, or you see Milwaukee in 1st place, or you see the Sixers in 1st place if they win a few games. It's going to be so much flip-flopping in these final couple of games. So basically, the Sixers are going to fall between that 1 and 4th spot. And just really depending on where they're going to land, I feel like they're more going to land in that 4th or 3rd place spot, just because you never know. I don't see them hopping into the 1st place, but you never know. Like I said, you never know in that standpoint. And in teams that are below those teams, you got the Toronto Raptors. They're in 5th place. You got the Chicago Bulls in 6th. And then you got the teams that are in the playoff, or the play-in round. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers in 7th. You got the Atlanta Hawks in 8th. You got the Charlotte Hornets in 9th. And you got the Brooklyn Nets in 10th place. So basically, those are the teams that are making the playoffs, because every team that is below the New York Knicks, or the Brooklyn Nets, actually, you got the Knicks, the Wizards, the Pacers, the Pistons, the Magic. Those teams are all eliminated. So basically, we're just waiting to see how everything is going to work from this standpoint when the playoffs are actually set. And then looking for the Sixers standpoint, just to look at their upcoming schedule to see the last remaining games. Like I said, it's 4 or 5 games left in the season. Yep, exactly 4. And you got Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that's basically the rest of the season. Tuesday in Indiana, Thursday in Toronto, Saturday back home at the Wells Fargo Center against Indiana once again, and then finishing off the season on Sunday the 10th against the Detroit Pistons. So those 2 last games as well against Indiana and Detroit, they're to be determined times. Tuesday and Thursday are at 7 and 7:30, so I wonder how they're going to schedule those final couple of games on Saturday and Sunday. So we're just going to basically wait and see for that standpoint. But still, good win by this team. A little close for my liking. You clinch a playoff spot. Joel Embiid was dominant once again, and there's no question mark that he should not be the MVP. He is the MVP of this league, and let's settle it there and then. He's the MVP for a reason. He is. No analytical nerd, no stat muse, anything should tell you otherwise that Joel Embiid is not the MVP, because he is. Man put up 44 points tonight, 17 rebounds. Man was dominant on a back-to-back as well. So yeah, that's how it goes. So what's going to do it for this video, everyone. What are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on Joel Embiid's performance? And now that the Sixers clinched their playoff spot, who do you think they're going to be playing in the first round, and where do you see them finishing out in the final 4 games and where they're going to seed? So don't forget to leave those comments in the comment section below. I like to see those as always. Do not forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flyer to Pod merch website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that good stuff is down in the description below. Do not forget to check those out. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you can do is hit that sub button and also use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek, and I will